Well, hi everybody, and thanks for listening today. Today on our call, we have Ashley Miller with us from
Hey.
Marriott Vacations, and we are going to be talking about on our podcast summer programming hits and misses. But before we get started, I wanted to let Ashley tell you a little bit about herself and take it away, Ashley.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am Ashley Miller. I went to school at Slippery Rock. I'm from Pittsburgh, and I was looking for something that had to do with hospitality. I heard they had resort recreation and hospitality management there, and so I went. I was never expecting to get into recreation. I was like, I'm not a big kid person. I'm more of an introvert. I don't like sports. Like, recreation's not for me. I wanted to do front desk. That's what I thought I would enjoy. And I really wanted to work at Disney World. That was the main
Okay.
goal. I was gonna get to Disney World. And so I graduated, got the internship at Disney, and moved down to Orlando. And I loved Florida. I loved Disney, but doing front desk was not for
Not
me.
for you. Yeah, it's
It's
tough, man.
it's very tough.
Yeah.
I give all the props to people that work front desk. You have to have thick skin. You have to be
hmm
okay with getting screamed at, and it
About
just
the most random stuff too.
yes,
Like
yeah.
something that you didn't even know was an issue
Oh,
in the house.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, this isn't really for me. So when the internship ended, I applied to a few different places, and I thought, let me just try recreation, I guess. I applied to some recreation jobs, and that's when I got with Marriott Vacation Club.
Nice.
Yeah, and I worked at a really small resort in Orlando, only 84 rooms, so super tiny, but absolutely loved it. And that's where I fell in love with recreation. I'm like, this is me. I didn't realize how much of a creative aspect there
Yeah.
was to recreation, and so that's where it just all clicked for me. I liked talking to the guests. I loved hosting trivia and the crafty things. So
Yep.
loved it. And after that, I ended up moving to Charleston, South Carolina, and
Oh,
I
nice.
worked, yeah, yeah, beautiful place, absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. And I got a job with Kiowa Island Golf Resort as a supervisor there. So that was awesome. I learned so much about a different side of recreation
hmm
because with Marriott, it was a lot of smaller activities and more crafty things and trivias, whereas at Kiowa, it was more big scale. We had
That's cool.
festivals, we had archery, bike
hmm
lessons, paddle boarding, kayaking, more of the outdoor things that I
Yeah, the
didn't really
property
do
is
much.
huge
It
too.
is. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge. And I loved it there, but me and my husband really missed Orlando.
Oh,
We're, as I said, big Disney fans, wanted to get back to the theme parks. So I moved back there, got back with Marriott Vacations at a Sheraton property, which had just been acquired, and then got promoted to a manager back at Lakeshore Reserve, which was the property I started in recreation. So that tiny 84 room property, I became the manager there, which was,
awesome.
yeah, really, really cool. And recently, about 3 years ago, got promoted to director of activities at Marriott's Crystal Shores, which is in Marco Island, Florida.
Okay.
So now I've been living down here and absolutely love it. The beach is great, beautiful down here. And so it's been a blast. So
That's so
that's
cool.
my background.
That's a
Yeah.
great story. I love it. And I mean, I think I expressed this to you on one of our calls when you, Gary, and I were talking about conference. Just I've been following some of your growth over the years on LinkedIn, which is a weird thing to hear, I'm sure, from someone because it's like I'm silently stalking you on LinkedIn.
No,
But
I
I
love
just
it.
was
I love
like
it.
so impressed with everything that you've been doing over the years. Like you share really cool events and programs that you're doing. And I just was like, she's someone to watch and she's someone to like keep seeing what they're interesting things that they're doing because you just seem to have a really good instincts about stuff, and you're excited about it, and you seem really passionate. So I wanted to keep talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm all for stalking, respectfully stalking
Yes, I
people.
was respectfully stalking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you get ideas. So
Yeah,
yeah. I am super passionate about recreation. This is where I belong. This is where I see myself. So I love
very
it.
cool. And I love too that you had a very different background. I think you're right that a lot of people think that recreation is about, oh, you have to like kids, you have to work in a kids program. And I
Mhm,
think that does turn some people off too, because that's just not where they see themselves in the long run.
mhm.
But once you get to dip your toe in maybe a different kind of property, or you work for a private business, you can start to see where your creative energies can really be peaked and everything. So
Yep.
I think that's awesome. So all right, so I want to dip into your brain and just
Okay.
your ideas that you've had about summer program over the years. As we just finished up Memorial Day weekend, and it's essentially the unofficial start of summer for most people. You're in a Florida property. I'm in a New York mountainside property, so we have two very different kind of perspectives.
Yeah.
But you grew up in the Northeast, so you know kind of the vibe up here.
Yeah.
Um, but when you are planning out different summer programming, why do you think summer programming was so much more unique compared to the other seasons? Like, what makes it so special and exciting for you?
I think that it's really exciting because kids are out of school. So I love spring break time too. Spring break is almost crazier because you
It's
have
so crazy.
all the excited college kids that are out there too. But having families taking their vacations in the summer, that's when I took my vacations growing up. We always went during the summer. You have all these kids out, they have lots of energy, they want to do fun things, they love going to the pools and the water slides
Yeah.
and things like that. So keeping them entertained is it's a big task, but it's so much fun to do.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, the first time I saw like a slide going into a pool or a lake, and I was like, what is that? I was like, that
Yeah,
is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
yeah.
It's like the little, well, I'm an 80s kid, so I'm sure that it was a little different back then. What kind of places did your parents take you for vacations? Did you go to resorts, or did you go camping, or did you go visit family? Different stuff.
Definitely more of the family visits.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
My my grandparents live in Iowa, so that was,
cool.
super exciting taking the Midwest road trips over to Iowa.
Yeah,
But it was fun, we always made it a fun trip. We would go to amusement parks a lot, so
nice.
I grew up working at Kennywood in Pittsburgh
Okay,
during some summers, and I worked at Cedar Points for a little bit in Ohio, and went on a couple Disney vacations as well. So
nice.
that's where that spark, the Disney lover in
The
me,
Disney bug,
got
yeah.
started. Yes. So we didn't really stay at resorts much.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, occasionally with my family at Disney, but they were the Disney properties. So definitely didn't stay at resorts where I noticed recreation programming at all.
Right.
And I think that's how a lot of people are. They don't even
Hmm.
realize that this exists. So it's cool to learn that it does exist, and there's such a big it's such a big industry. So
Yeah.
that's I spent my summers mostly at family places.
Yeah, totally. And I think historically too, like if you ever chat with Debbie Rignon and some of the trailblazers in our fields, they're really like a lot of this stuff didn't really spur like resorts themselves, and hotels building resorts and resort programming really evolved 80s, 90s, and then really took off, I feel like exploded in the 2000s. There
Mm-hmm.
was programming and there was stuff, but it was very secular and it was very specific, and I don't think it was across a lot of socioeconomic like areas. It was very,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
I think
um,
I feel like every year the hospitality industry is learning more and more how important the experience aspect of vacations is.
yeah,
People, they don't want to just sit at the pool all day. Like they
Right.
want more going on than that. They want something bigger. They've done regular resorts. What else can they
Hmm.
do now?
Exactly. So, speaking of that, what would you say from your experience is
Mhm.
one summer program that you've seen or you've personally run that totally surprised you for better or for worse? Something that you were like, oh, okay.
There's been a lot, but one that is such a simple activity that blew me away is pie in the face.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah.
so we did this one 4th of July. I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. Hot potato, basically, and somebody gets a plate of whipped cream in their face.
Mm,
It was popular on the 4th of July, and so we continued it after that. We're like, let's
mhm.
do this weekly. Let's see how it goes. And right now, we will have over 100 people at Pie in the Face, and just
Wow.
yeah, just playing Pie in the Face. We've had to add multiple balls that are being passed around and
Just to
and
make it
tell the
harder.
DJ, yeah, we're like, DJ, we need you to play just like 3-second clips of songs so
Yeah,
that we can
yeah.
get through everybody. Go through a case of whipped cream, basically.
So that was my next
uh,
question to you is, are you shaving cream or whipped cream? But you guys are straight whipped cream. Okay.
yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think it's less risky because you don't have kids getting shaving cream in their mouths and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
So it's a super simple activity, but people
Hmm.
absolutely love it. They go
They do
crazy
love
for
it.
it. So I that blew me away. The fact that we have over 100 people participate in that, I never expected it to get that
That's so
big.
fun. Do you do
Yeah.
the whole thing with like the goggles, or does anyone ever ask for like a shower cap or anything for their hair, or you just it's like full on just bare?
Everybody is just ready to face the pie. They don't ask for anything. Some people, they'll put on sunglasses
Sure.
first, but everybody they're just ready for it. And I have learned in my experience, I think it's so much worse getting pied in the face than I imagined it is. Because I've obviously had to take quite a few pies to the face
Yeah.
now, and the whipped cream, it goes up your nose, it gets in your
Mm-hmm.
eyes and your
Mm-hmm.
ears and your hair. And then it's so hot in Florida, so it starts to like
Yeah.
spoil while,
Yeah,
while
I
it's
was just
on.
gonna say, like when we've done it for carnivals, we typically I've always done unscented like Barbasol like shaving cream because I
Mhm.
did it once with whipped cream and the dairy smell was so nauseating for me. And we're not even like
It is.
I mean we're warm, but we're not like Florida warm. And
Mhm.
I just ever since that point, anytime we've ever done it, I was like, I can't do whipped cream. I was like,
Yeah,
there's no way.
it is. It's really bad. Worse than you'd think.
Oh, so
But
when
it's fun.
you, yeah, it sounds it. Do you, is it like a wide age demographic that you have when your large groups? Yeah.
Yeah, yep, we do. Very wide age demographic, because we have families, multiple generations staying at our property, and they'll all come up to play.
Oh, I
We
love it.
actually we have a guy on property. His name's Tom Brady, and he he is such a character. Absolutely amazing person. He's retired and just loves being on property and entertaining the guests, and he'll be there the day we do Pie in the Face, and he will tell everybody, you have to come up here, you have to
Oh.
play this. If you love your kids, you're going to come play Pie in the Face. So he
See,
gets
and
he
that's
gets the
important.
crowd going.
Like that's just sincere internal marketing right there. It's not
Yep.
just like a sign on a wall. Like you're the people around you that don't even work in your department have bought in on what you're doing and are
Yep.
like excited about it. So that I think also makes the activity that much more enjoyable because if you have people like that supporting you and you didn't even ask them to do it, then it shows that it really sincerely is like a really fun activity. So
Yeah. Yep.
go Tom Brady. I love it. Um, okay, so flipping though to maybe something that didn't work so great. Have you
Mhm.
ever experienced like a big miss in summer programming, and what do you think it taught you in that situation?
Yeah.
I know
Unfortunately,
none of us ever want to talk about this stuff.
I think it's good learning lessons. But I went to this conference in Orlando called IAPA.
Oh yeah.
It's
Hmm.
the International Association of Amusement
Huge.
Parks and Attractions. Yes, gigantic, awesome thing to go to. And the year I went, gel blasters were super huge. And I got really excited because I'm like, this is unique, this is cool, it's
Hmm.
popular right now, and just sounds like fun, and it's,
Hmm.
not painful like
I was
paintball.
gonna say it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I have to figure out a way to do this. And so I bought all the guns. I bought inflatable bunkers to put up on the beach. I bought these targets that come with the guns that light up. And we decided we're like, we're not going to tell them to shoot at each other. We'll tell them to shoot the targets. That's your goal, shoot the other team's targets.
Yeah.
And we had the face masks and everything. Of course, they didn't listen to the shooting of the targets. They shot each other
Right,
because
because they're
that's
probably
what's
like
fun.
family. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was fun in that aspect, but the guns kept getting loaded with sand constantly.
Oh
They would
no.
break all the time, and so we changed the location because we're like, maybe this is a location issue. So we moved it to a grass lawn that we have on property.
Mhm.
However, it's a really tucked away area that
So
most
no one
guests don't
sees
really
you.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a huge part of programming. You need to be seen.
Yep.
And people just didn't see us. It wasn't doing great there. The guns were still having issues. I was buying new guns
Oh.
all the time.
Yeah, you're just
So
spending money. Yeah.
yeah, the bunkers would blow away constantly because it's windy, and it just was kind of a total bust, which was really disappointing because I was so excited for it, but
Well, yeah, and
didn't
you
go over
invested
well.
energy and money and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I'm sure there are other properties that could do really well at, but for
Right.
us it just
It just
just
didn't
didn't
work.
work. Yeah.
And for you, I mean, so I'm an ignorant upstate mountain girl. For Florida properties, ignorant as in like summer programming in Florida,
Yeah.
people want to be outside even though it's brutally hot, right? So this isn't the kind of thing that you would do in like a conference center because no matter what, they want to be out by the beach, they want to be outside. So it wouldn't have worked if you brought it inside, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there would have been a couple of issues because you'd have all the little Orby pellet things on the
Yeah,
floor that
getting
you'd
stuck
have
in the
to,
carpet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because those will just like dissolve when they're outside, but if they were inside, it would be
Yeah.
a big cleanup. But yeah, surprisingly, despite the heat, people on vacation typically
Want to be
want to be
outside.
outside. They
Yeah.
stay in the air conditioning when they're at home.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough, fair enough. For me, I have two really silly ones. Well, not silly, but one was when I used to run the kids club. I don't remember if I was specifically running the kids club here or if I was activities manager, but I had to help work an evening party with one of my old colleagues. And it was just a regular evening, end of summer um event. So that's like a 7 to 8:30 thing. It was for ages 4 through 12 and a mom brought a piñata and said, "Hey, it's, so and so's birthday. Would you mind if could you do this tonight and factor it in since you're already doing like a dance party?" And we were like, "Absolutely." And she's like, "Don't worry, it's already filled with candy." And so, you do the normal things like you check for allergies, you let all the parents know. We thought we were like checking off all um our boxes and it came down to it and all the kids were great, they listened, they lined up, and you have to be careful. I'm sure you've done a piñata where you don't want to make sure that the kids aren't hitting each other and all that stuff.
mhm,
So for some reason this piñata just did not want to like burst and 10, 15 kids are whacking the bananas out of this piñata. So at that point you intervene and make a little break in it and keep it going, keep the energy going because they're like now it's like pent up energy and like kids just get so
yeah,
crazy over piñatas. Like I as an adult now as a parent, like we don't do piñatas, but somebody always walks away really upset. But anyway, so this thing is getting like beat down. And then finally, all of a sudden, this one kid comes up and just hits it so hard. And we see stuff flying out of the piñata. And we didn't realize, because we didn't ask, that inside the candy wasn't like chocolate bars or gum. It was hard candy. So this whole time, this candy inside the piñata is just getting smashed. And there's just like shards of hard candy that flying out of this thing and we're like, oh my God, because you start to worry, like, are these kids gonna get hit in the eyes, the face? And then we like stopped and we just like opened it and we looked, and there was not a single piece of like what I will call regular or normal candy. It was just straight up hard candy. And I don't even think that this poor mom realized it either. So then
Hmm.
we were like, what do we do? So like, and then I think the kids ended up swarming us and it fell and then all the candy went everywhere. So then we had to come up with alternative things because they were
Hmm.
like, I don't want a grape hard candy or like this weird lime green thing. But it was so bad. Like both of mine and my friend's face would just like went, oh my God, this is terrible. And they were so hopped up and like loony at that point that it
Yeah.
didn't upset the kids, but we knew that like this is a bad scene.
Hmm.
So always ask, find out a little bit more information about what's inside the pinata. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of pinatas, really.
yeah, they make
It's
everybody mad.
yeah, they do.
And then 4th of July one year, I was at least, I don't know, 10 years in my career at this point. So I have experiences, I think what I'm trying to say. And our 4th of July, the recreation director and hosts what's called a water show. And on our boat dock, we have this space between the boat dock and essentially where a porch is on the main part of our house. And there's like a big metal railing, and we do a porch diving competition from there because it gets to about 44 feet deep. So we
Mhm.
do like water activities on there, like log rolling or other things. Well, we wanted to change it up as you do every year. And we got these little inflatable boats and we had the idea to do what's called tug a boat. So we got tug of war ropes and we attached them to the shoreline, and we had I think two or three sticking out. And the idea was that you would put two people in a boat. Usually, I think this one was specifically kids because they were like little inflatables, and
Mhm.
and you pulled yourself forward, and whoever got to the end first won. It was very in concept. It was very low key and basic. However, the supplies didn't come until like the day before, and at that point, we didn't test this out. So we were like, whatever. And I think a little bit of the I've been doing planning activities for this many years. I probably was
Mhm.
being a little cocky and was like, it'll be fine. Like what could happen? You know what I mean? Well,
Right.
it was fine. It just didn't do in my head what it was supposed to do, where it was a linear thing.
Mhm.
Essentially, everybody swung in one direction to the other side because, physics. And it was fine, but and nobody like really knew the difference and nobody was mad about it. But as it was happening, I was like, oh no, this is not what's supposed to be going on. But like you had for pie throwing, you get like over 150 people
Mhm.
observing because all their little kids are standing on the dock excited and everybody's cheering them on. And
Mhm.
as you're doing it, they're just like swinging, and I'm like, please don't swing into the boat dock. Like you're thinking of all like the worst things that could possibly be going wrong. So,
Yeah.
needless to say, we haven't done that activity again. Um, they
Sounds
were
fun,
happy.
but
It was charming and cute, and them in the boats and the whole thing. But yeah,
mhm.
it didn't really work out super well. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand. I think that I have 8 years of recreation experience
Mhm.
now. Actually, as of today, it's my anniversary.
Oh,
So
congratulations!
thank
That's
you. Thank
cool.
you.
Oh,
But yeah, I think we get to a point where we've seen so many activities and we're like, of course this will work. Like
yeah,
it makes sense, but
right. Yeah.
if you don't test something out, you never know what you're getting yourself
It's
into.
like it's like planning 101. Like
Yeah.
that's what you learn.
Yes.
Like you
Yeah.
have to try everything out. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that
Uh,
was it blatantly in my face that day. I was like, well, can't do anything about it now. Except not do that again.
yeah.
And you kind of answered this already, but I'm gonna transition and ask a little further. So what are the biggest things guests or any participant, even if it's not at a resort, are looking for? What do you think they're looking for in summer recreation?
I think you have two types of people when it comes to this because obviously you have families a lot in the summertime.
Hmm.
You'll have little kids, mom, dad, grandparents, they're all there. And I think you have a lot of people that want to do family activities. They want to participate as a family, have fun as a family. This is family vacation. That's what
Yeah.
they're looking for. But you also have the parents who kind of want to drop their kids off and have their own
Yeah,
vacation, which is
totally
fine.
fine
I
too.
get
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So I think you have to have a mix of those family programs, but also poolside programs where the mom and dad can sit in a lounge chair having a cocktail and see
Hmm.
their kids in a
Take
distance
a
and make
picture.
sure,
Yeah,
yeah, take a picture, but don't have to actually participate in anything, just
right.
making sure their kids are entertained. So I think you have two different groups of people looking for very different things. So it's
Yeah,
important to have a balance of both of those, where you can make the parents happy, but also have the family bonding time as well.
right. So for your poolside stuff, do you specifically design it with kids in mind, or are you always open in the event that grandma and grandpa show up, or, the older brother who's 19 or something like
Mhm.
that? So,
We always have to consider all family members coming. I have tried in the past having like adults only
hmm
cornhole or giant beer pong, things like that. And
yeah,
always we have kids coming up wanting to play. And
yeah,
it's such a dissatisfier to keep turning all these kids away. And then you have the parents that they don't want to play, but their kids really want to play. So now
yeah,
they're going to get angry at you. And
yeah.
so we really try to make everything all ages, to the best of our abilities.
That's
When we
so
do,
hard to,
it is. When we do
yeah,
things poolside, I'll say like
right.
when we do things at other areas of the resort or have, alcohol activities, then
Hmm.
obviously that's going to be adults only. And I think those are important, but poolside, you really need to figure out things that accommodate
It's
all of those
everybody.
ages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very fair.
Mhm.
Um, so when these activities are happening in front of you, or
Mhm.
your staff, how are you evaluating like that it's working, or like what's not working in real time? Like I know that I'm sure there's some tried and true stuff that you do at your property year after year, but you're someone I know that is always trying out new stuff.
Mhm.
And are your staff typically ready to be like pivot?
They
So
are. It's funny because you'll get staff members who are like so stuck to the rules, like, okay,
yeah,
this is how we learned how to do this
this is what she told me we
activity.
have to do. Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
then, and it's hard having those people because they don't think on their feet or improvise quite as much.
yeah,
But I respect they want to stick to the rules, so I get
yeah.
that. But I think the majority of my staff are really good at thinking on their feet and adjusting as necessary. Or at least if it's something we do weekly and they saw that it didn't go well this week, they'll figure out an adjustment or tell me about it and we'll figure it out together for the next week. Um,
I
but
had
as
a staff.
far,
I'm sorry.
go
Keep
ahead.
going. Keep going. No, no, no. I'll share it at the end. Yeah.
As far as like observing what's working in real time or not, obviously first and easiest thing to observe is attendance. Is
Yeah.
it actually getting people interested? Are they coming up and participating in this activity? And then you have to look at their faces always,
Yeah.
because you'll have the people that are maybe in the activity and then the people that are outside of the activity looking at it. So
Mm-hmm.
the people that are in it, are they having fun? Are they smiling? Are they laughing? Or are they confused? Are they
I was just
annoyed?
gonna say, are they
Uh,
like, I don't know what's going on? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you'll hear little comments too. So listening in on the guests, like, are they saying, I don't understand this? Or is there some sort of line that's taking a really long time to get through people? Like that kind of, just observing what the guests are showing on their
Mm-hmm.
faces. And with the pool deck, it can be tricky because you want to entertain the people that are at the pool deck too. You don't want them
Right.
to get angry with what you're doing.
Yeah, if it's
So
like too loud or too crazy,
yeah,
and they're like,
yeah,
I'm just trying to read my book here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I take a look at the whole pool deck, the people that are doing the activity and the ones that are sitting there. And if they're laughing and staring and enjoying it, like that's a total win. You want all of those people to enjoy what's going on. So that's kind of how to assess in real time what's working.
Yeah. One time, this was a really long time ago. It was a Memorial Day activity, and I think my staff were running it. I don't think I was there in the afternoon for whatever reason. And we wanted to do like classic Americana kind of activities. So we did a pie eating contest.
Mhm.
And we got the pies internally. and the staff went to go pick up the pies and they were still hot, like they had just come out of the oven, and they were stressing because the activity was going to start soon. So they just went for it. They were what you just described as rule followers, where they were like, this is a pie, we're going to line people up and they're going to eat their whole pie.
Hmm.
Now, as they were telling me about this the following day, I said to them, it was like a supervisor and then two line staff that were helping with it. And so I
Hmm.
got feedback from all three of them because, everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, did the guests like it? They're like, they loved it. I was like,
Hmm.
okay. I was like, but it was hot. And they were like, well, it was warm, but it was kind of hot. I said, well, why didn't you just cut it up into slices then? Like you didn't have to serve a whole pie. It would have cooled off faster if you had just cut it and then separated the pie out. And you could see that none of them had thought of that.
Hmm.
And they were like, well, there was one kid who was doing it that was like, my face hurts. And I was like, guys, what are you doing? Like, that is a very obvious thing that needs to be. They're like, well, it was fine. It was fine. I'm like, I'm sure it's fine now, but in the moment, I feel as though maybe some adjustments could have been made. So
Yeah.
it was just one of those moments where you're thinking in your head like, oh, I just learned a lot about my staff and how they think and how comfortable they are with adjusting and changing things in the moment, and
Yeah.
some coaching opportunities and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It can be really hard to teach that because not everybody has a recreation focused brain where they can
Yeah,
see something and they're like, that's not working, do this instead.
right.
And that comes from experience too, of,
Correct. Yes.
like my team, this is such a small thing, but when we're doing tie dye, we put it into gallon sized Ziploc bags at the end to let it sit in.
Yep.
But back when I worked at other properties, we would just put it in like a to go bag or a grocery bag type
Yeah.
thing. And, our restaurants have plenty of to go bags here. But my team, if we run out of Ziploc bags, they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, they're
Um,
panicking. Yeah.
yes, panicking. I'm like, guys, just grab some to go bags. It'll be fine.
We'll be
So
okay. Yeah, because
yeah,
in their heads, there's a reason why it's a seal, and they're just like, well, if we don't have that,
yeah,
then this isn't the right thing to do. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah.
tie-dye is one of those activities that tried and true after all these years is still such a hit for our
Mhm.
guests. And then I feel like the number one thing I always tell them is, please do not wash this in the sink or the bathtub. Housekeeping will be really upset with me. So they just look at you and they kind of smirk, and I'm like, no, I'm being serious. I was like, please do wash it in your basin at home. And then
Yeah,
we always reemphasize, well, you want the dye to really absorb, and the longer it's
yeah,
there, the brighter the colors will be. And
yeah. It can be hard, thinking about the other departments, especially housekeeping, when you're making things like slime. Like, please keep this in the bag. Housekeeping
don't
will
put it
see
in your
this.
pocket. Yeah.
Don't spread it on the couch in the villa. And water balloon tosses. You have all the little pieces out
Yep.
there, and I always tell the team, like, have a game afterwards where the kid that picks up the most pieces gets a prize, because
Hmm.
otherwise housekeeping is going to hate that we leave all of those there,
Yeah.
or it's going to be annoying for the team to have to pick those all up afterwards.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you're walking somewhere and you see them like blowing in the wind. You're like, oh my God, that's from us, isn't it?
Yep.
No. Um, what's one unexpected challenge of running summer programming? Like when you first started doing this, that you were like, oh shoot, I really need to take that into consideration.
There's always, the heat that's involved.
Yeah.
That's a huge challenge, but now I've learned that's pretty expected. I know that's going to happen, so
Hmm.
put it into consideration. But something that for some reason I tend to just forget about and is really annoying is daylight. The daylight,
Oh
how much
yeah.
it extends in the summer, which is great for people staying out late, and it's just fun. But when you have things like glow parties or
Yep.
movie
Or a
nights,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, it's summer is the perfect season to do those kinds of things, because you have kids that want to have all this fun at a glow party or
Yeah.
want to sit in the pool and watch a movie. But you have to really start it late at night, like
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock now because of how bright it is until that
And
time.
then you have to pick a movie that's like not too long. And like the
Yeah.
hunt to find a movie that's an hour and a half is
Yes.
not always easy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has to be pretty bright too. Like if you pick a really dark movie,
Oh yeah.
then
Yeah, like
then you
parts
have
of
to
Harry
wait.
Potter are so
Yes.
dark sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So daylight is just one of those things you might not have in mind when you're creating the activity, but you really have to consider the success of the activity based on that. Is it going to work at all? Is it going to not be cool if we have glow items in the sunlight?
Yeah, no.
So that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've run into trying to start an outdoor movie too close to the sunset and not
Mhm.
considering what the glow would look like, thinking that where physically it was because it was in a courtyard with a big building around it, but there still was so much ambient light and things like that happening
Mhm.
that I had a mom walk up to me and go, "What is this? What are we doing?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
ma'am. Like, we thought it would be a lot darker." And you can't do anything. Like, there's nothing you could really
Yeah.
do. I mean, you
Yeah.
could postpone it, but then the guests are just waiting and festering, and
Mhm.
it's not satisfying anybody at that point.
Yeah.
So you just
Yep.
have to apologize and, you know, kind of get through the 15 minutes of it getting dark,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
So, all right. So I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
Um, do you have any advice for someone that's trying to revive any kind of stale summer programming? So, like they've been doing the same stuff year after year. How would you advise or guide them to try to come up with some new stuff?
I would advise them to research things.
Okay.
I think for some reason a lot of recreation management they think that they have to come up with everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They want it to be creative, which is great, and I'm a very creative person, but even I have to research things constantly. I get ideas on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, other resorts. I'll look up guides at resorts I haven't even heard of, but like, let me
Mm-hmm.
see what summer programming they're doing. And it's really research involved. And I
Yeah.
don't think people always think about that as much. You know, as as a manager, you may take over at a department and you're like, oh, these activities are working pretty well. Let's just keep doing those. That's what
Right.
you know, that's what's worked. The team is used to them. But trying new things, doing the research, that's really important in my
Yeah.
opinion, and seeing what's popular at the time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like are people going to escape rooms, and that's really popular, so let's try
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Are gel blasters coming out now? And let's try that. Or even like what game shows are popular right now, can we adjust to make that work at our property, and things like that. Just research. That's my advice.
That's my favorite part of the process is the discovery and research. I love implementing stuff, don't get me wrong. Like,
Mm,
but by the time I get to that point, I'm like, it's gonna be fine. But like that research and discovery and like finding the next thing and then like collaborating with fellow colleagues on stuff, it just
mm,
is I personally find it to be very rewarding and exciting to build up that energy and momentum for it and stuff. So
yeah. Yeah.
um
Even like I'll go on SNS Worldwide's website
mhm.
and see like, okay, do they have any new products that seem interesting? And
I used to
I
live by that catalog.
yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. Well,
I
because I was running kids clubs, so it was just
yeah.
like flip through to try to find the newest thing I'm like, can I
Yeah.
reproduce that or do I have to buy it from them? Or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, because they have so many cool team building things, which can be
Hmm.
great for family programming. So it's always interesting to see what they have going on. Recently, and we haven't done this yet. It's coming in June.
Okay.
We bought pickle. It's called Pickle 360. Um,
Oh, I think I've seen this. Tell though.
yeah, yeah. So we don't have a pickleball court, and
Hmm.
pickleball is so popular right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dang it, what can we do to try to create pickleball here?
Hmm.
And I don't even remember what I was looking up, but I was on Amazon just browsing, and I saw Pickle 360, and it's basically a combination of spike ball and pickleball.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, that could be fun,
It
maybe.
doesn't take up a lot of
So
space.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I ordered one of them, and it's literally a spike ball set with a net around it, and you use paddles and a pickleball instead of a spike ball.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I'm not a sporty person at all. So I got some of my team members who are sporty and know pickleball
You
to
guys
test
try it
it
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were having a lot of fun with it. So I'm like, okay, this could be good. And then we had like guests walking by who were watching it and entertained. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. So I bought a few of them, and we're gonna have a pickle 360 tournament starting in
Cool.
June. So maybe it'll be a hit, maybe it'll be a miss. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll talk about it
And
next month. No.
yeah. And so it wasn't a very expensive investment, and it satisfies those people that really want pickleball. Maybe,
hmm
maybe it won't satisfy them at all. We'll see.
As long as they're
So
holding their paddle and they have their
yeah,
little waffly ball.
yeah,
Is
exactly.
this the kind of thing because you're mainly just the idea is that you have to hit the net, is that you could do it on the beach though, right? Because you're not determinant on the ground surface that you're on to be able to
Mhm.
like bounce off of it. So I
Right.
feel
We could do
okay.
it on the beach for
That's
sure.
cool.
Yeah, we honestly don't do very many beach activities because
Okay.
it's so hot out there, and always I don't know, the conditions can be very
Super
tricky.
windy, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't do too much out there, but it's always an option.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. All right. So to close, what is your favorite go-to summer activity? Even if it's something that you even like to just do yourself. I know you're a crafter, so as I am too, which is why I feel like we're kindled spirits that way. But yeah, like, do you have something that you're like, this works? Like, I know this will work every year, regardless of, being a boomer or a Gen Z or whatever. So,
Mhm. Yeah, this is a 4th of July activity, so not one that we do every week, but hot dog eating contest. I
really?
love it. Yes, we
I was not going to expect that you were going to say that.
yes, I I started this back when I was a recreation lead at Sheraton. My boss let me try it out, and it was really fun. And then when I got to Crystal Shores, where I'm at now, we brought it back, and it's we do it where it's 10 people max that can participate, and then they get 5 hot dogs each, and whoever can eat the most in, I think we do like 90 seconds, is the
Okay.
winner. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like 10 minutes of eating as many
Yeah.
hot dogs as possible,
So gross.
because it's a lot harder than you think to eat a lot of hot
Okay.
dogs. So um,
And they
that
have
I
buns, right? They're eating with
they
the
have
buns. Yeah.
buns. We give them the water for the
The
dedicated
dipping.
ones that wanna yeah wanna soak it. That never goes over well because it's just gross. But it's so entertaining, and we'll have 150 people watching,
Wow.
just watching these people eat hot dogs, and
See, I've
it's
done a
so
watermelon
fun.
eating contest, but that
Mm.
sounds really funny
Yeah, we
and
do
very entertaining.
watermelon. Memorial Day we'll do watermelon, and then 4th of July we do hot dogs, and it's always been such a blast. So for 4th of July, that's my go-to
That's your
activity.
go-to.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like it's a hit and quite a success. So,
Yeah, it's fun.
um, very cool. Well, I just want to, or I should end with, thank you so much for being so generous with your time and sharing all of your knowledge with us. We really appreciate you. For everybody else listening, thank you too for listening, and stay tuned for June's podcast, which will come out next month. And we hope everybody has a wonderful day and keep listening. We're going to have a quick spark list of some top summer programming ideas from various RecNet members that they would love to share. So thanks and have a great day.
Thank you. Happy to be a part of it.
Good day, everybody. This is Lisa Linden, Operations Consultant from Creative Recommendations. I could ramble on about my favorite activities, so instead of doing that, here's my tip. Take my favorite interview question. You have 30 kids for 2 hours with no supplies. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down as many activities as possible. Use these games when you need to fill the time after your daily programs. The kids will love them, you won't need any supplies, and just remember to end the games on a high note. That way, you can play them again on another day. Wishing you all a great summer. Thanks again.
Hi, this is Jessie from Chatham Bars Inn, and something that works for me every time is any game with hula hoops.
My name is Marty Fowler, and I work at Ocean Lakes Family Campground in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And my favorite go-to summer activity is tie-dye.
Hi Annie, this is Stephanie, and one idea that always works for me for summer programming is doing scavenger hunts. I really like them because you can modify them, you can add to them, you can use them for different holidays or different occasions, but they're very versatile and they're always a lot of fun.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to this month's podcast. That was our spark list of summer programming ideas from some of our wonderful RecNet members. We look forward to hearing your feedback on this episode. And again, if you'd like to be a part of this show moving forward, please just reach out to Annie Pellick at rec-network.org. And we can't wait till next month, and we'll share with you what our new topic is then. All right. Hope you have a great day.